Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Suleiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Break our 7 seals. I'm going to play this portion first. I was going to play it later. Let me play it and then we continue. Just give me a second here.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get into with a 3.6.
The blacks may be happy, but that 71% are very unhappy, and so that means that the community is polarized, racially divided, and into that could be some serious moments for the future.
Your own presence was noted in an indirect way during this trial. Here's a videotape of Johnny Cochran being escorted to and from the courthouse. Those are your...
Just a minute, brother and sister. This is not the actual part. Wait a second here.
In like centuries, they're God.
Yes. Yes. There, you know, I must say this. Of the day that than a friend, and ultimately this is going to lead to anarchy. So I think it needs all in law enforcement to rethink their mentality and begin to reprocess their people.
Sir.
Yeah, Minister Farrakhan.
Yes.
Dr. King dreamed of the day that children will be recognized by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Do you see a day when whites will be allowed to join the black Muslims?
Yes. Yes. There, you know, I must say this. Some of my own brothers may be shocked at this, but you asked me a question, and I have to answer you truthfully. If you look at the message of Jesus, it started first very narrowly among the lost sheep. And Jesus was told, go ye not in the way of the Samaritans or in the way of the Gentiles, but to the lost sheep. And then at a certain point he said, go ye into all the world, to every nation, kindred, and tongue. If you will look at the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it first was directed to black people because we were in the worst condition. But not only are we lost, the whole human family is lost, and therefore, therefore the message has to evolve, and we have to evolve. And I'll close that point by saying, in Christ, there is no Greek, no Jew, no bond, no free, no male, no female. This means that we all are going to have to grow out of rabid nationalism, sexism, racism, materialism in order to claim Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior.
Very
Okay, brothers and sisters, that should give you a hint where we're going, because that's all bullshit. You see the trick? Elijah Muhammad's message was first directed. No, it was only directed at the message of black men in America. It was first directed. See? So play words. It was first directed. No, it was only directed at the Asiatic black man with message of black men in America. Not place else. Message of black men in America. It was first directed to black. And like, okay, now he was directed someplace else? No, that was the only way it was. That was the only people was directed. He was mentioning to us, not to humanity. See a lie? And in Jesus Christ, who's that? We move on, brothers. I thought I played that. I had a little trouble with it first, right? So, oh boy, let's move on. Let's move on here. See, a couple changes here. Okay. Yeah. It was first directed, but now it's directed at humanity, like Elijah Muhammad. His message to us. His message to us, no one else. Messenger to us, no one else. It was first directed. Yeah, okay. It was only directed. Lion dog. Okay, let's look at this, brothers and sisters. Now, if you watch that broadcast today, and that's June 8th, Sunday. See, that fool, they're in desperation mode over there. They have no idea what they're talking about. And he make the same assertion that they make about Genesis. Now, if you read Genesis, take the time to do it, there's 8 days, 6 days there, and the 7th day. But 6 days, each day takes 1,000 years. That's supposed to be the start of when Yaqub started, when he started 6,000 years ago, according to Elijah Muhammad, right? So that means the 6th day would be the last 5,000 years. And each day is broken up to a night and a day, so it's 500 years apiece. And so the last part of it, right, would be the last 500 years. Just go through it. The last part, the 6th day, would be the last 1,000 years, and then the night part would be the last 500 years, which started about 1,400, 500 years ago. So that's when this man would become in existence. Let's make man, right? He said, let us make man alive. Wait a minute, hold it. He said it was created man. He was changing, transforming man from angel to something else. Now, if you go in there with Adam, that Adam was made 6,000 years ago. And he wasn't made male and female. It was Adam, and then the female was afterthought. In this one, they're both made together. This come out us. And transform us from angels to gods. Because in Quran it says, right, told the angels submit to Adam. Adam came into existence 500 years ago. God made God when they came out of the pit. It's two been world empires. Britain and America, only two world empires. There's you don't know about any other world empires by anybody. China, anybody. They was not world empires. Genghis Khan was not a world empire. Only America and Britain. The sun never sets on the British Empire. America now controls the world. Two. And they came out 500 years ago. And Magog means the mother of God. That means God came out of Magog, America. See? That's what they're talking about. And we submit to Adam. As a result of that, that's the Abrahamic covenant. We receive a great reward. At the end of that, we were told to serve them. We kept them over here, served them. We were told to serve. We will serve them. That means submission to them. And we were told to submit. And angels submitted. We submitted. And the reward for submission would be promised land. It's clear enough. We're going to tell, that's the Caucasians. No, it's not. Male and female. It made it clear there. That's not what, when they made this other Adam, he was just male, and then later on, let's make the female. No, male and female equal here. In the other Adam, male with female was not, she was made afterthought, and plus she's made as a helpmate to Adam. This one, they're equal. This is us. How stupid he is. If you just do the math. The 6th day will be the last 1,000 years. And we know that Adam was made 6,000 years ago. So it can't be both. And we have dominion over everything. The Adam did not have all of that. Didn't have all of that. Plus he had restrictions. He couldn't eat this, couldn't eat that. He has no restrictions here. Not saying you can eat pork or anything. No restrictions here. Read it. Read it. We transform into gods. That's what Elijah Muhammad said. From angels to gods. Male and female. Now when they talk about, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Boy. He's a fool. They're in desperation mode over there. They're in desperation mode over there because they're being exposed. They're being consumed. About to be destroyed. They're all liars all the time. Oh, man, we never lie. You lie all the time. Every time you open your mouth, you're telling a damn lie. And now you're trying to cover up. See, they was dressed in my presentation from this week because I'm using their own words. They tell me that God ain't no man. Ain't that what he said? In his own words. Farrakhan said God is not a man. You can't worship him because he's flesh. You got to worship something that's not flesh. Don't even exist, really. Something that, remember, it can't be flesh. Whoever this God Farrakhan talking about, he cannot be, we'll talk about it in a minute, he cannot be flesh. Elijah Muhammad made very clear, he's flesh. Nothing else but that. Farrakhan said, you can't worship Master Muhammad because he's flesh. That means whoever he's pointing to, you can't worship him either. Unless, because they be flesh, and so whoever you point to can't be flesh. So what is it? They're through. They're through. When that war starts, it's over for them. It's over for them now, as far as I'm concerned. The derivative reality. Let's talk about a couple of things to get right into the presentation, brothers and sisters. Now, they're in desperation mode over there. I wasn't getting sound. I talk about calculus and derivatives. A derivative is one dimension down. That's what a derivative is. Just check it out. Calculus. Take a derivative of a square, of a cube is a square. Derivative of a square is a line. Derivative of a line is a point. Period. That's what derivative is. So the derivative of this cube here is a square there. It means you're down a dimension. Okay. Understand that. Okay. We live in a derivative world now. We're reduced to a derivative world. That's what religion is. A derivative is, because religion is somebody's guess, some theory of how things work. Mathematics is not a theory. If Islam is mathematics, and mathematics Islam, which it is not a theory. It's not a religion. It says they gave Islam to the Arabs as a religion. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. See? So, as Elijah Muhammad told you, 35,000 years ago, they start the mental level was declined into a religious level, and said the first one was Buddhism, because they didn't have full knowledge of the universe anymore. They had a mental ability because of energy deprivation, right? The mental capacity started decreasing, so they fell into religion, trying to explain how things work, because they didn't know. Because we did know eventually, but declines in energy deprivation because the universe expanding, all the energy that used to be here is out there. It says when heavens and earth was one. He talked about that. He don't even know what that means. It was one. That means all the energy out there used to be here. Momentum was in heaven and earth, but coming all of a sudden now it's coming back. They spread all the energy out there, so we had less energy. So we got to the point, energy deprivation, we have enough energy to maintain our civilization, anything. So it's not reduced into religion, have enough mental power to maintain that level of knowledge. So we reduced down to here, to a plane, which is derivative of what we used to be. And now we're expanding again, because the universe is now contracting. See here? Now, what this say? Having a form of godliness, but strange to the power of it, from such to turn away. Having a form of Islam without substance. See, that's Sunnism. They was giving Islam as a religion. They had a form of Islam, without the substance of it. Or they got the Kaaba, they got the Mecca, they got the Quran, they got the name, everything, but they don't have the substance. They don't have the mathematics of it. If Islam, I keep saying, if Islam is mathematics, but you don't get any mathematics from them. You get no mathematical from all. You get mysteries. Same thing. God's a mystery. Everything's a mystery. Heaven's a mystery. You don't get any mathematics from them either. So we told Islam is mathematics. Islam, they should be able to explain it mathematically. They cannot, because they don't have the substance. They just had a form. Because they're given derivative Islam. Islam as a religion. See, this have affected your religion for you. Your religion. Complete my favor upon you and have chosen you Islam as your religion. As a religion. Not the mathematics of it. They didn't get that. They got the form of it. The form of Islam. Not the math. And same as the devils. They have our form but not our substance. See, gorillas have our form. Basically, not as good as well. This is, basic form. They don't have our substance, and they have our form, but they don't have our substance. That's what it's saying here. See, having the form of godliness, but strange the power of it. That's the substance of it. They have the form of us, of God's, but they don't have the power, the substance that goes with it. We live in a derivative world. You see what it is right here, see? See, we three-dimensional. That's us. Excuse me, Bill says, whoa. I definitely messed up on that one. Hold on. Definitely messed up on that one. Can't let that one pass. I'm not here from that one, boy. Woo. I want feedback on that one. Hold on here. Right here. Okay, there you go. There you go. That's better. Oh, wow. Woo. They get me on that one. No. See? This is three-dimensional. This is mathematical Islam that's coming in. This is derivative Islam. That's derivative Islam here. Has the form, not the substance. It has the form and the substance. It has the form of us, not the substance. This is derivative Islam, what you go there. That's why they call it the golden calf. Because Aaron tried to take you back to the derivative. See? Aaron, Farrakhan, turned back Sunniism. Elijah Muhammad, when he allowed him to his temple. I know, I did search duty. You could not, that was one of the things, we could not allow Sunnis to come into Elijah Muhammad. Why would he restrict them coming to his temple? Would not allow him to come in. Why would he talk about that? Farrakhan told me we had to go over there and get down and put our head between it, behind your butt and all that kind of stuff. You won't be doing that stuff in the hereafter. Okay? That's another story together. Anyway, this is, right? This is true Islam. Three-dimensional. Two-dimensional. Derivative Islam. That's what you're getting over there. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay? See? When it was three-dimensional, then what happened? We got reduced to two-dimensional, and once we got to two-dimensional, then we made a man that had an image of us, a two-dimensional man, but not the substance. Godliness, image of godliness, not the substance. That's derivative man, the devils. The occasions. They was created right here. And derivative reality. They're derivative, creating haste. They cannot ascend into third dimension because they don't have that quality. They was created here. We can. We had a quality. We just reduced. But we still have the quality. We're in a two-dimensional status. We lock it. So they rule because this is their world. Two-dimensional world is their world, not ours. See? Ours is three-dimensional world, but we reduced here because of energy deprivation. So once energy starts returning, it's momentous in heaven and earth, then we leave them behind and we move to a new reality which you cannot even imagine because you think in two-dimensional. You can't. If you're a two-dimensional being, you have no idea third dimension exists. You have no idea. You don't have no idea about looking up. There's no up. There's only left and right. There's no up to you. There's no vertical. There's only left and right, back and forward. And so it's no impossible to look up because you're two-dimensional. But three-dimensional being looks, they can see you, you can't see them. They don't even know you exist. And it's a whole new world. It's totally different. It's complete, like I said. The Quran and the Bible both tell you it will be totally different. It will be totally different from this. Why? Because it's three-dimensional. They say you can't imagine it. Your heart can't imagine it. Your mind can't imagine it because you're still in two-dimensional status. Once you start moving three-dimensional status, get the angel, because that's what's trying to train. That's why nobody can understand it, because the Bible, you got the two-dimensional Bible. The Bible is three-dimensional, but it's reduced. You got the derivative of it. That's a two-dimensional, and so they could not understand the Bible. They understand only on a two-dimensional level, the sealed Bible level. But when the Lamb came, he was the first one to start ascending into the third dimension. It says no one in the heavens or earth could do it because they was all in the two-dimensional status. You had to be three-dimensional to see the three-dimensional. So he started ascending to the third dimensional because energy management, that's another story I'm going to talk about later. And then he starts, so he started bringing a new reality. Got enough energy now to start bringing that new reality back into existence. And he said, be firstborn amongst the dead ones, and then he started bringing the rest up. Because they don't even know about it. No one knew about it. The scriptures, but no one knew. The scriptures didn't tell you. No heart could understand. I forget how they say it. No eye could see, no mind could understand, no heart could conceive, whatever. Because it's two-dimensional. And that reality, this three-dimensional reality, would be so different from this you can't even imagine. It'd be nothing like this. This is two-dimensional world, it'd be nothing like this. Cars, driving, all that, this is two-dimensional stuff. The earth universe is three-dimensional, so we're going to have access to the total universe. They limit it right here. Two-dimensional. You understand, brothers and sisters? All we can do is move back and forward. So right here, energy deprivation started 6,000 years ago. It ends 6,000 years from now. It's a 12,000 year cycle. But Adam he had 12,000 years, but he was so wicked and everything. We stopped him right here. This was our worst point, 1800s. That was our worst point. Then we start coming out. That's when Master Muhammad came into existence in that period of time. He was born 1877, right during that same period. Is that a coincidence? When the Civil War and everything, we finally started moving up, broke those physical chains. But we said we couldn't let him, so we made a derivative God, a God that had both derivative and mathematical, a third dimensional problem, both second and third dimensional. Why? That's why his mother's second dimensional and his father's third dimensional. So he can operate in both arenas. A derivative God, like Muhammad says, a made God. And he was not self-taught, so he could not be a son of man. He was not. Plus, he don't have dark skin and woolly hair. Elijah Muhammad said very clearly he was taught by his father, who went and got information from all other scientists he had to pay a lot of money for, and he taught Master Muhammad, who was not self-taught. Neither was Elijah Muhammad self-taught. He said the messenger of covenant be self-taught. How you know what do you mean by self-taught? Because he's the only one who broke the angel. No one taught it to him. He broke the seals. No one taught it to him. So he's self-taught. That's what he's telling you. He's self-taught. No one taught him the angel. I'm teaching you the angel, but no one taught me the angel. I had to break the seals myself. Right? So in 6,000 years he would rule, and then after that 6,000 years, then the kingdom returned back to the tribe of Shabazz, as Elijah Muhammad said. He said eventually, he says he'd be under control of the May God. Master Muhammad is a righteous God. He'd be under control of him until the next 6,000 years, and then it returned back to the tribe of Shabazz again. He said he's a made God, but he said the original God is more powerful than him. These are Elijah Muhammad's words. It's a message of the black man too. How can I read that part? To me, he's going to be everlasting God and everything. Elijah Muhammad never said anything like that. He said he's a made God. Made God. The original God is more powerful than him, but the original gods will not have power enough to take control until the next 6,000 years. And here, you got different metals. I'm going to go, I've talked this all week, so I'm not going to dwell deep long into it. But you got different metals. And these are the most precious metal, gold and silver. But you got these other metals too. See? And so when you go here, see, you had Europe. Europe, a barren, it's a cave. It's a barren land. See, you put the most worthless, I mean, you got worthless people, you put them on worthless land. Why would you put them on rich land? What are they going to do with it? It'd be a waste of money. It was like giving a fool $1 million. Why would you do that? Well, you know what's going to happen to it. It's not going to last long. Right? And the wisest people you give to the most, right? To the richest land. And that's what happened. They call us the dumbest people. Why we had the richest land? Why are we so dumb? Why did we have the richest land on the planet? And why are Europeans so smart? Why they had the worst land on the planet? Europe is a basket case. Yeah, she said, why did they bring capitalism and democracy? I said, why didn't they stop? Why did it burst out in Europe? Why did all this power and innovation, why did it burst out in Europe? Why didn't it burst out in Europe? Why did they have to go all over the world and take from everybody else? If they had so much. Because they had nothing. Europe was a basket case, a shithole. It was disease and murder and genocide. It was constantly fighting each other. They wasn't producing anything. Read about Marco Polo. He went out and went all over the world, right? He went all over the world trying to get stuff. Where they got gunpowder from? They got it from China. Where they got China, what you call China plates and stuff? They got that from China. And I'm having a little technical problem here, but says I don't know how it's gonna last. I'm having a lot of lately, boy. I'm having a lot of technical problems this week. They don't want this message to get out. I'm surprised they haven't deplatformed already. Okay. So, and they went all over the place. With Africa to get gold and stuff and come over here looking for gold once they found out about this place? Because they had nothing. Why did they go look for stuff? They had so much. You didn't see Africa go look for anything. Nobody else is going to look for stuff but them. You don't look for stuff unless you need stuff. You don't have it. Everybody had what they wanted. They didn't have to go take it from anybody else. Only them. See? Because it's a shithole. Disease, murder, rape. It was total basket case up there. They wouldn't take baths. They thought it was evil to take baths. You gotta take my word for it. They would go there all their life without taking a damn bath. Go and check it out. They would go their whole life without taking a bath one time. How funky can you be? This went for 1,000 years. When it was in the dark age, that's chapter 20 where they hide from you. Chapter 20 is their history. It's not no millennium in the future. That's them. And they came out after 1,000 years. God can make out 2 European powers. There's only been 2 world powers that you know about ever existed, and they're both European. God can make our America and Britain. 2. That's who God can make our God. They try, oh, it's Russia. Russia was never a world empire. It says 2 empires, they're going to cover the whole earth and deceive everybody. So who 2 nations done that? America and Britain. So here, the shithole, they said we're looking for stuff. And then what happened? Then they found this, and it turned to the shithole. That's why I started Joseph. Joseph said, hey, what I'm going to do is Joseph told me how to say their ass. They're not a farm, had to do anything. They was about to starve, death, and everything over there. So Joseph helped them, and then they enslaved Joseph's children. That's us. They enslaved Joseph's children, his ancestors, his descendants. That's how evil and wicked they are. So once they came over here, shit, then what happened? Then they went and got boys over here. Now they have, just because you can't make shit, you want to live in it. That's why he was looking for everything. They got tired of living their own shit. They got tired of doing shit, so they said, let's go. They couldn't produce any gold. They couldn't produce any silver. So they went and got us. And now they got us sitting in their shithole, and we taking their shit and turning gold and silver for them. That's the whole slave and everything was a Holocaust all about. Turning their shit they gave us into gold for them. That's exactly what it's all about. And you say, oh, what's that gold? What that gold mean? That's innovation. All this stuff. How come all this stuff burst out of America after they brought us here? 6,000 years, they had horse and buggy, everything else. They said, you're horse and buggy, no innovation, nothing whatsoever. And all of a sudden, as soon as they get us over here, all of a sudden, all this innovation, right? Computers and cars and planes. Once it gets over here. But they're supposed to be so smart that somehow some brain thing happened. But how come it didn't happen in Europe? All Europeans over there. How come they didn't have a big blast? How come this stuff ain't come out of you? How come all this innovation, music and everything, innovation is coming out of here and going there? Because they got the gold and silver us that we produce for them, and they taking all over the world. And they claim it for themselves. I mean, Germany got most white folks right. They should be bursting with innovation. They're not. They're copying the stuff they got from here. They didn't come to anything new. They still use cars, everything stuff they got from out of here. Same thing as Britain. Same thing as France, all of them. Because they don't want you to know that. See? Because they want to keep that process going. Because they feed us shit, and we turn into gold and silver for them. And they want to keep that arrangement going. Because if we wake up, we stop eating their shit, and we take our gold and go home. Because the silver go home, and now they're sitting here in their shit with nothing. In their little shit, right? Smelling, eating shit. And we back home with our gold and silver. And innovation and everything else. That's what's going on. They don't want you to know that. See, and Farrakhan, he's part of that. Because he's one of them. And basic biology, see, they talk that crap today. They go all around, they want to talk facts. But talk about the fact that Farrakhan is a devil. His father is a devil. Talk about that fact. See, they try to get around, oh, well, it's fine, it doesn't matter. And they try to portray Master Farrakhan as a white man. Yeah, he's a white man. He's not a Caucasian white man. Let's say the Caucasian white man is a devil. See, they play stupid games and they, well, are you listening? Okay. But see, once that war starts, it's going to start any day now. Shit going to hit the fan. Farrakhan's going down. They're going to tear his own people there. They're going to tear him down, destroy him, and they come in here. Excuse me, to the best of the covenant. Well, I don't want anything. I'm not here to take anything from him. I don't want your money. I don't want anything. I'm here to just get information. Get you home, if you want to go home. And when you get home, you won't be in submission to anybody. It should be God's. God's not to pray to anybody. Nobody. You won't be employees. God's not employees. That's derivative. That's derivative economics. You wasn't employed before you came here. You was never employed before you wasn't never employed in Africa. Employee is just a modern name for slave for the industrial age. What do we call a slave in the industrial age? You call them employee. It just plays the game in the name. So they play the game with shitlins. That's exactly what they call it when they was feeding it to you. Now you buy it yourself. It's sad. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, shitlings. But they just changed the name. Shitlins, because they figure you dumb enough to buy it. And some of us are. So they changed the name from, oh, you know, a slave, you're an employee. What's the difference? Okay, put it like this here. Say a man, he's homeless. He got a dog. What does the dog eat? Scraps. So now he get on welfare or something, right? Now he got a little place, right? Okay, his dog, meat, whatever, eat, whatever scraps he eats from the table. And then he mess around and get a job. Now he can buy dog food for the dog. Right? And he start saving some money, get on his feet good, right? And now maybe the dog's, he buying pork chop and stuff for the dog. You see, the dog elevated because he's elevated, but it's still a goddamn dog. And you're still a goddamn slave. See, but he needs you to work. So he can't be beating you to work on these machines and stuff is he got to make you think that you're cool, so you do a good job on these machines. That's what was slavery look at in the industrial age? What was slavery look at in the industrial age? If you had slavery in the industrial age, what would it look like? You look in the mirror, see if you see anything. They got us going, but this is going to come to a screeching halt in a minute, Bone says, we're going home. We're going home. Farrakhan, he's home now. It's his fathers that's doing this. Remember, his fathers are the devil. It's his fathers that are persecuting us and everything else. And he getting rich off of us now. He ain't produced a goddamn thing in some 42 years. Him and his son is, they were just like him, was a seed. And they're multi-millionaires, and the Nation of Islam is broke. And if he dies, the Nation of Islam will go right with that'd be the last, because that's what he was sent back to put the final nail in the Nation of Islam. They thought they had it when Elijah Muhammad. When Wallace took it down, got rid of the name, everything, got rid of all the resources, assets and everything. They took all the money, liquidated it, took all the money, and changed the name to Bilal. That was in, they supposed to have been dead. See? And then some people try to hold on to it. They say, oh, well, so they had sent Farrakhan to kill it. That's what he's been doing for 40 years. He's been changing teachers, everything. He's been killing. That's his job. They finally put the final nail in it. If he was to die, all that money, like Muhammad, when he left, when he partied, he didn't part rich. Look how much he was worth when he parted. He wasn't worth anything. He wasn't. I mean, he was worth something. He wasn't worth their money because all the money was in the name of the Nation of Islam, all of it. And that's why they got mad. They went to court. Farrakhan right there. They went to court and told the judge, man, that money belonged to my father. And he didn't fight for the believers. He fought with Wallace and them to get that money. He didn't stand for the believers. He said the believers going crazy and they're dying and going back to prison and going back to devil and everything else. Well, he didn't. Why? Because y'all, that's what y'all did. You didn't stand for the believers. You was going to get that money and run like Ishmael's mother did, ran down to Mexico, watch him rush from out of the country. They were scared because people was looking for them to kill him. That's why he was running. You see Elijah Muhammad's family, the only one you saw was Wallace. All the rest of them disappeared, took that money and gone. Ishmael's money too. He said he was down there in Mexico getting high with that devil he got called, Abel. Come on, he's a FOI boy. We should never put that uniform on. He gonna wish he never had. See, that's what's happening, brothers and sisters. That's the truth of it. Now tell me I'm lying, Farrakhan. See, they don't call me liars. They call me Nate. They don't call me liar. Because everything I'm saying is true, and I offer $1,000 to anyone to prove I'm lying. I offer $1,000 cash money to anybody to prove I'm lying. I was there. From 70 to 75, I was there. I was there when the message departed. I was a foreman. I was a foreman in Muhammad Speak newspaper. I printed the paper the night shift. That's what happened. So they said, you got to send him back to finish this off. So if he goes, all that money, he didn't do like Elijah, that money's all in his family's name. His son is rich. How did his son become a millionaire? He goes to be supreme captain. How do you become a millionaire? He don't have any business or anything. So if they go, that money goes in. So the Nation of Islam don't have anything anyway. They have very little assets. I don't know if they can have any. They have a couple of so-called mosques here and there. The whole state of Florida, and they got one so-called mosque down in Miami. I'm not sure if that even exists. They got little study groups. I went to one of the study groups. It's like they had somebody said they can use their kindergarten classroom at night. Yeah, kindergarten. And you're going to you better not sit in one of those chairs because they had to pry you out of it. It's so small. And then when you go in there, right, they don't have anybody teaching. What they do is they give you some crap that Farrakhan wrote, and they pass around, and you right, and so you say you read a sentence, the next person read the next sentence. So it's indoctrination. Tell me I'm lying, Farrakhan. I give anybody $1,000 that can prove to me publicly that he's faithful to Elijah Muhammad's teaching and supreme wisdom. They can show $1,000 cash money, and plus I kiss Farrakhan's ass in public. They can't. See, they call me names and everything else. They don't call me a liar, but man, they can call me. I don't care if they call me one or not, right? But they don't come up and take that challenge. They can shut me down because they want me shut down, but they don't take a challenge because they know they can't. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Boys over here now. And what's the solution? The solution is take our gold and get the hell out of here and lead them back in their shithole. But Pharaoh said, we ain't going nowhere. Why? Because he's with Master. Keep these niggas here. Man, they making us rich, man. We ain't got to smell gold and shit no more. We got to smell shit no more because, you know, we got gold and silver we can play with. We just let them smell the shit. Put them in shithole, ghettos, and prison and everything else. And they make us gold and silver. Man, look, we got cars, we got all this music and everything, all this stuff. Don't tell me I know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? I had an IT business for years. I stopped it when I slowed down. I ended up eventually stopping it when I got into the Angel. And I work with these folks. And they try to tell you how they're smart, they're dumb. They're dumb as hell. This is the IT age, this is supposed to be the age of IT. Brain power, right? So how come they got to bring those Indians over to do it? You ask yourself that? Why bring those Indians over to do it? Because they can't, and they don't want us to do it. I'll tell you a brief story on that. It's hard to find it, but I went to the program. They had a program back in the 70s, right? Back during the time I was in Nation of Islam, right? When mess was around. And under Carter. What they did is they call it SIC codes, standard industrial codes. When they have a new industry, they didn't have laptops and cell phone and stuff back during that time, right? When they have a new industry coming in, the government goes demographics to find out the people that's best qualified, like maybe women best qualified to do this, maybe men, maybe children, best qualified to, then they want to train them. So they can rate because they want to stay out front of their industry, you know, they want to stay on top of it. And they came up with the conclusion was it was blacks that was the best suited to do programming. That's a fact. And they connected with music. They said music is logical. You may not know it, but it says the skills for music, that's the same kind of skills that will make you a good programmer. And so I know I said because I went to the program. I went to the program, 3-month program. They paid you while you was going. I came out top of my class. And they had agreement with industry, local industry, just all over the United States, right? That they would take anybody in the top 10% of the class, and I was number one. On top of that, had IBM was teaching the class and providing the equipment, right? And Urban League was doing the administrative part and everything. This is a fact. And then when Reagan came and said, no, bullshit, hell with that. They had them niggas doing that because that's a critical industry. They come smart. They figure out it's like the reason why they made a law that black folks could not read. Why would you make that law? Would you make a law that dogs can't read? What point would that make? Because they know they start reading, they'll be smarter than them. And he said, if you took that man, these black folks found they smarter and they the ones causing our ingenuity and everything else, we'd be in trouble. So he shut the program down and they made a movie called I'm Alive, Number 5. And that movie was all about, you can check it out. I'm Alive, Number 5, some Indian guy. Nobody even knew about Indians during that time. Indian from India. And this Indian guy, out of all the world, right? Indian guy, not a white guy, Indian guy. He made a robot that came alive. Came alive. Everybody, damn, them men are smart. Same thing did Bruce Lee to make you think that everybody in China is a kung fu art. And 9% of people don't know about the damn kung fu. So you scared you want to get a conflict with a Chinese guy, he's gonna kung fu you, and they don't know more about kung fu than you do. So now you think, oh, these Indians, maybe real smart. Then next thing they flood Indians in here. Nobody even probably seen an Indian before that, because they don't want you to do it, because they know you're the best at it, and they start 3-strike laws that put your ass in jail, right? And they bring them over and say, the place is millions of them now here for computer. How come their own people ain't doing it? How come their own people poor, homeless, and working in manual jobs when the Indians come over here and they doing all the computer work? I had my own business, and like I said, I started my own business, and I was good at it. I am good at it. They didn't like me, but they liked my work, because 90% of my work They would call me to fix systems that they put in, and then they left and then damn thing didn't work. So they called me, come here and have me fix them. That's a fact. They tell you think they smart, they ain't. They're smart enough to fool you. That means that says something about you, right? I'm not accusing you, brothers and sisters, because they got you down two-dimensional plane, but you rising now, and what's Master Muhammad's getting ready to do with that war? That's going to wake you up, and when you wake up, so you come as a exceedingly great army. A exceedingly great army when you come together, and that's going to rock their boat. Okay? And nobody's going to be able to prevail against you, because you're the best. You ain't as sinful and wicked like Farrakhan said, the accused of our brethren. That's all he does, accuse you. You're sinful. You need to repent. You need to atone for what? For what? We under their domination. We was told to obey laws. So if we do what they tell us to do, then and that's what we was told to do by God Himself. Then how in the hell are you gonna call us sinful and wicked when we're under their domination? We following their laws. We doing what we're under their authority. You're driving down the road 50, 60 miles an hour, and you get a 50 mile an hour westward wind. So now you're moving northwest. Whose fault is that? Is that your fault, or is the damn wind's fault? Whose fault is it? Lying ass Farrakhan. It's the wind's fault. If we act other than ourselves, it's their fault. It means if you look at the leaves, and the leaves are blowing that way, say, oh, you don't see the wind, but you see the way the leaves are blowing, and they're blowing real hard, then you know the wind is moving fast. If it's moving leftward, then you know, or rightward, then you know which way the wind is blowing. So it's wind's blowing from the left. You don't have to see the wind, or you just see the effect of the wind. So if they see us acting like fools and hoes and everything else, that's because that's who they are. Because they was angels, they'd have us acting like angels or even better than we were. You understand? If there's a tailwind, they'd be moving faster in the right direction. The headwind, and we'd be slowing down to nothing. If there's a western wind, that means they're throwing us off course. We acted other than ourselves. Whose reason was that? That's them. But Farrakhan blaming us because he's one of them. It's clear enough. Yeah. The guys over here, that's why I said it was gold and silver. It says when we left out, we took the gold and silver with us that plundered Egypt. It tells you right there. We leave, we took all the gold and silver with us. Pharaoh said we ain't going nowhere. We calling God a liar already. Then Abraham comes and says that was God's covenant. Right? That means if you say that ain't gonna happen, that means you calling God a liar. You calling Elijah Muhammad a liar too, because that was the core of his message. We going home. They killed Martin Luther King for saying the same thing. He talked to Elijah. Elijah told him about it, pulled his coat. We got to picture him and Elijah together. He went out and said promised land speech, they killed him the next day. But we ain't going to know because he don't Abraham seed. He ain't going nowhere to promise. That's why he despised it, because it's not up to him. Because he's not Abraham's seed. He says, followers of the devil, we're going to show it in a minute, from his own words. So he's not one of us, he's one of them. And if we leave, like I said, if the people of Nation of Islam leave, he's ruined too, because then he's making money off them. He got the sisters pimping the sisters. That's why he got a pimp scar on his chin. He's a pimp. He can't get those brothers to do anything for him. So he got sisters out there doing on the streets doing fundraisers. He's a goddamn pimp. He got sisters out on the street doing fundraisers so he can run around the country about, I gotta go talk to this, I gotta go spread the word. Elijah Muhammad never put sisters on the streets, ever. Never. Not one time ever. I was there. Goddamn pimp. See? So now they're enjoying what we produce for them. See? And then we go home, take our gold back to silver. We're leaving. We are leaving here. Unless you just want to stay. We're leaving. You can stay if you want. Right? And then what happens? See? This is America here, right? Singing. They got us. See, they said they had us working against ourselves. They got us singing. We eating shit, and they got us singing. Eating shit and everything. I was singing because we got their mind. Remember, the man has lost his mind. Whose mind he had? The devil's mind. So he's singing too. He's eating shit and singing, and they taking our gold and singing. Because we're working against ourselves. It's not our fault. It's the effect they're having on us. You see, once gold is gone, they go back to caves. Go back to the caves. Like Mom used to put that in message in Mama's newspaper. They go back to the cave. They go back to the cave now and busting rocks, eating shit. And we home now. We be home now building gold, building castles, whatever we build. Taking control of the universe. They're back to this again, like they were up in Europe before they burst out and took control of us. See? And now we singing, and we back home with the gold and silver. They don't even have no music over there because they got the music from us. Anybody singing Beethoven and Bach, Santana? Oh boy, it's simple, brothers and sisters. Okay? That's us and this them. America, the shithole. That's what they can produce. That's what they produce. War, fighting, GZs, the damn dogs and stuff. I could tell you about these dogs. I mean, you should know better, brothers and sisters. I watch these African movies every now and then on the weekend. Like my wife has some time together, right? I spend most time doing this, right? And we watch it. And I've never seen an African movie yet where they said a dog in their house, even inside the house, any house, because that ain't us. And the bottom line is, I don't want to go into detail here, brothers and sisters, but dogs are a biological system. They have an immune system, and they have germ stuff that we use to protect them from, right? But they don't have the same system we have. So some of the germs so we have germs and viruses in us, but some are good for us. Some it work, they're beneficial to us. Go check it out. You have viruses stuff in your stomach that is beneficial for you, right? And they have that benefit for them, but the ones that benefit them is not the same one benefits for us. And so when you contact with another biological system different from yours, that alerts your immune system. Your immune system has to guard you from that biological system. So now you're putting your immune system at risk. You're challenging it, you're taxing it. And then you wonder why you got ulcers and this cancer and everything else. Because you got that goddamn dog in there. Who would bring a goddamn dog in their house? Then they kissing them and kissing there. And what do you think? And kissing the dog and the dog, how do you think he wipe he used his tongue for toilet paper? That's how sick they are, and they guys doing it. And you see when I was growing up, I used to see black folks' dog. Now they got more dogs than white people do. But they mostly demons anyway. Well, 4 or 5 dogs. I said, what the God, what's wrong with you? See, it used to bother me, but then I said, well, they probably a demon anyway. Just as skin folk. Why would you have no damn dogs in your house? And then now they're picking up dog shit. They don't see anything wrong with any of that? You don't see nothing wrong with that? Pick up dog shit? You got a dog in your house? I wouldn't eat them devil's house for 1 minute, not even the demon's house. Because the same plate that they feed you with, that's they eat the dogs out of. That's what I have all these, cancer is very, almost non-existent in Africa. I have no evidence of cancer in my family at all. And I got family members that don't live anywhere near a good life. And only one ever caught cancer in my family was my mother, because she took that polio shot. They knew it had cancer in it. No one else in my even had even close. Because we don't get it if you live, unless you're doing the crap they're doing. And it's most prevalent in European countries. Because dogs and all that kind of stuff. All these syphilis, gonorrhea and all that stuff, they come from having sex with dogs. Google this thing about Hugh Hefner. Remember the Playboy guy? Right? He got all those women, right? And so a secretary came work one day with her dog and said, she went to lunch, said, can you watch my dog while I go to lunch? She come back early, he's doing the dog. Check it out, take my word for it. He's doing the dog. So now, syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, and you name it. It was so bad back in the 1890s when the so-called Quakers and the Puritans came over here. Right, they had a law against what do you call it when you have sex with animals? I forget what they call it, the name. Bestiality. So they said sex with animals, and so when they would catch them having sex with lambs and stuff like that, there, have sex with donkeys. Yeah, they catch one, and then what they do is they'd hang them, but they hang the donkey too. Go check it out. I said, what you hang the donkey for? Yeah, well, you got to hang both of them. But see, the hypocrisy of it, they said we was animals. So why would you have sex with our women then? Jefferson and Washington. It wasn't no romance. They were slaves. And you was raping them and putting stuff in their mouth and all kinds of stuff you was doing. Because you see how sick they are right now. How do you think they was when they had total carte blanche to do anything they wanted to with you? That's what it is, brothers and sisters. And so just a little quick here. See, this is going forward, right, thus, righteously, going along out by business, and all of a sudden, what? Bam! Hit by, come in contact with the devil. That's comes different from us. Different conflicting nature. And what's the result? Now we're going like this. Whose fault is that? Was it our fault or theirs? Farrakhan? You say, oh, you're sinful, you're wicked, you need a tone. Well, what about the devils? We was fine. So we're going this way, it's their fault. So what's the solution? Get the hell away from them, like Elijah Muhammad said, and Master Muhammad said that's the solution. But you know, we ain't going nowhere. That means you wanted to keep this going because you one of them, because you benefiting from it. It's their fault. They're the ones you should be accused, but you're accusing us. Accuse my brethren. Farrakhan. That's the Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds NOI backwards. That's his real name. Louis Eugene, he want to argue about the G. Well, let him argue what he want to, right? Turn the NOI backwards. That's coincidence? That says his name was Legion. It says we're many. That's what demons said. The leader of the demons said his name was Legion. Greatest hypocrite. Hold on, brothers and sisters. I'm having all kinds of technical problems, brothers. I got a lot of technical problems here.
He's getting the fame so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. I'm telling you what he said. I died at the table. I mean, it was like he had taken a spoke and drove it right through my heart. I couldn't understand why he said it. I didn't know why he would say something like that to me. I was faithful to him in my own way, I thought. I was obedient to him in my own way, I thought. Why would he say that to me? It is because he knew tomorrow better than I knew yesterday. And I lived through yesterday and don't know what tomorrow is, but that man saw tomorrow. He was the most perfect guy that ever could come to a people, brother and sister. But we blew it, man, because we so hateful of our black selves that we didn't believe that God would dare take a black man and not only make him a messenger, but more than a messenger, deposit in the man himself and make a God out of him for you and me. Now listen, brother, I'm not playing here. That man, Elijah Muhammad, is the most profound individual you will ever meet. I don't give a doggone if you live to be a million. And those of us that walked with him in faithlessness, walked with him in doubt and in suspicion of his divinity, know it better now than we ever knew it while he was among us. We know it now. Look, and I say this with deep humility, man, it pains me to open myself up and see a hypocrite laying inside. But look, how else can a man be healed unless he's opened up to the light and the thing that is in him that is not pleasing to God be removed? You understand? Now here's the messenger looking at me. And because Malcolm told me that the messenger was jealous, and members of the messenger's family had dropped it out that the messenger was jealous, I began to entertain the thought because I couldn't see the future. Now listen, I fought it off but it was there. Hear this now, beloved. One day in New York, 70,000 people came out to hear the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the largest gathering of black people, really, I think, in the history of our sojourn in America, to listen to a black man teach wisdom. And this ain't no play. I was so overjoyed, I went to the messenger and I said to him, the apostle, there were 70,000 people. And back in, again, 3 months later, we did it again, and 40,000 came out on a Sunday afternoon to hear a lecture in Randall's Island. And you know, when I was so exultant, you may use the word cocky, you may use the word vain, self-centered, whatever you want to say. When God gives you success, you better learn how to handle it, or that thing will destroy you. And I didn't know how to handle what God was bringing to me. And I'm just being very frank and honest. And this is not negative, but it's so good to understand how merciful God is. He brings you up and show you the power that can come to you, but he knows you can't handle it. He'll drop you right back down and then bring you up in humility so that whatever he gives you, you'll be able to handle it well. Now look, beloved, when I was telling the messenger about this 70,000 and this 40,000, you know what he said to me? He got real sad and he said, you know, brother, the time is coming when you may go to the temple and there may not be one believer there but yourself. I couldn't believe it. I said, but we got 7,000 Muslims in New York. And here's 70,000 people out there reaching for his teaching. How could I go to the temple and there be no believer there? I didn't know what he knew. I didn't know at all, but he knew it all. Now let me say this and conclude this whole thing. Brothers and sisters, when they announced that the messenger was dead and his son took the leadership, we all bowed to his son. I think it was a great show of respect for him that no war, no fighting broke out over who gonna be the leader, this, that, and the other. It was one of the most smooth transitions of any black organization in the history of America. But we, in submitting to him, we did not know what he had in his heart. Though we should have had some indication, since historically he had always been in rebellion against his father. But when we saw him standing with his father, we took it for granted he had overcome his difficulty with his daddy, and nothing was more pleasing to me than to see that son return to his father to help carry on his father's work. And even though the father, in truth, now, had told the people to listen to Farrakhan. Yes, he did. I didn't feel qualified to carry on the work, and when Wallace stood up, I said, okay, I will back him. And in sincerity, I backed him. But look at the pause now. The man started teaching against the 40 years work of his father. And the more he taught against his father, some of us went crazy. I mean, some of the Muslims actually went into insane asylums. Some of the, yes, it's true. Some of the Muslims just couldn't handle it. Some Muslims walked out of that beautiful house on Stony Island, which rightfully belongs to you. See, it don't belong to hypocrites. It belongs to you. And one day it'll be again in your hands if it be the will of Allah. Look, brothers and sisters, the believers walked out. Some stayed there horrified and really petrified to hear a son say things like this against his own father, his own benefactor. Some of the Muslims believed it, took the flag down, took our uniforms off, sisters took off their robes, and to think now that this man who taught us for all these years, that he tricked us, there's too much to bear. So some of the brothers went back in the street, picked up their reefer, and was selling reefer. Some of us went and picked up drugs, harder drugs, sold them. Some of us became pimps. Some of us went back and became worse than we were before we met Elijah Muhammad. It's true. Some of the sisters went back to sweethearting with devils. Some of them had never gone with a devil, but decided I'll try it out. Some of the brothers had never laid with a white woman, decided I'll try it out. I mean, we went totally crazy, brother. They're just a handful that held on to the messenger, and they held on by a thread. Just a thread. But look at what happened. Just look. Let's look at the comma. We're talking about a comma now, and what the comma means. The comma means a pause. Now the pause is here. Wallace has done his work, and he failed to destroy his father's name. He failed to destroy his father's reputation. And 4 years ago, this very month, I was awakened from my hypocrisy, from my falling backward. And I stood up and said, I am going to, by Allah's help, rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Not my work, not your work, his work. Now listen, that pause, I went all over the world during that pause, and everywhere I've been, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching showed me that that man was correct, more correct than I ever believed he was. He was not only correct, but he was right and exact. Now, there's a difference between just being correct and being right and exact. That means not one jot or tittle of his message should be altered in any way.
Get that, brothers and sisters? Not one word should be altered in any way. He's altered all of it. He altered all of it. Devil's not devils anymore. We ain't going anywhere. See? Lying, dog, hypocrite. He just said it should be altered anyway. And that's all he's been doing. Altering all of it. We ain't going anywhere. It was Elijah Muhammad's core message. That was core message, or even in the lessons. Just give you information, brothers and sisters. You do what you want to do with it. Oh boy.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagler as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother. Really? Let's look into that. Hey, let me do something. Give me a second, brothers. I want to do something. Add something to this. I forgot, so I don't have to, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just give me a second here. I'm going to take a second, brothers and sisters. That shows someone, oh, it's Photoshop. They just can't face the truth. But most of it just demons anyway, so they can't face the truth because the truth ain't for them, it's against them. Oh, no, that one. No, I'm going to do that one. One second, where is it? There it is. Yeah. Okay. Hey, brothers and sisters. That's him kissing Father Flager. That so you got both of them. Ishmael in love with him. Farrakhan kissed him in the mouth. Right? Now, what did Lester say about that? What did Elijah Mama say about that? I was there from 775. And, ooh, this happened right there. He would have been gone. Kiss him in the mouth. It says, it's Photoshop. No, it's not. Ishmael just told you, we're the same. We almost the same color. So what did Lester say about that? Okay, let me make it a little larger, brothers and sisters. Maybe so you can see a little better. While I read it. It says, why do Muhammad and any Muslim murder the devil? What is the duty of each Muslim in regards to 4 devils? What reward does a Muslim receive by presenting the 4 devils at one time? This is Master Muhammad talking now. He claims they represent Elijah Muhammad and Master Muhammad. And we say about these devils that, remember, Farrakhan said, all humanity, he's going to save all humanity, all that stuff, right? Because he is 100%, 100% means he's told, wicked, and will not keep and obey the laws of Islam. His ways and actions are like snake of the grafted type. So Muhammad learned that he could not reform the devils. They can't be reformed, but Farrakhan can reform them. So Master Muhammad don't know what he's talking about, according to Farrakhan. As they had to be, so they had to be murdered. All Muslims will murder devils. They know all Muslims will murder devils. They know he's a snake, and also if he be allowed to live, he would sting someone else. Obviously sting Farrakhan now, right? Each Muslim is required to bring 4, okay. You got it? So that sounds like what they was just showing you just now? Kissing one of them in the mouth. And he telling you, hey man, we love the devils. Right? It had nothing to do with skin color. And the trick they play with Elijah, Master Muhammad. See, that's the same thing that while Malcolm was, that's why Elijah said, stop calling white people devils. Because that's the trick they was doing. Instead of saying, what the lesson say, the occasion white man is the devil, they said, oh, see, he said white man is the devil. And then Wallace would say, see, how could, then Master Muhammad must be the devil too, he's white. That was the trick they playing. And that's what he just played just then. See? Anybody skin color. They say, see, Master Muhammad's white. Yeah, but Farrakhan's original. And Farrakhan's father's the devil. That's how I should get around it. Okay? Move on, brothers and sisters. I'm just getting information. You decide what you're going to do with it. Save yourself or whatever. See, you have to pay for this information. It says a free gift. Read chapter 22. But you got to pay Farrakhan for that lies and shit they're giving you. Because you already earned your right. You don't have to pay for anything else. You already earned. You paid your right. You paid for your reward for 400 years. You're paid for it. So there's no need to pay anybody anything. But why are you paying Farrakhan? So he can live around with big old rings on his finger and drive stretch mobiles and all that kind of stuff. Can you reform the devil? This is lessons now. They tell you that this is from Master Farrakhan Muhammad. That Elijah Muhammad taught. No. Oh, Master Muhammad didn't know what he's talking about? Master Farrakhan Muhammad did not know what he's talking about. So he's a fool, according to Ishmael, because he says, no, you cannot. But Farrakhan and Ishmael says you can. So who's the God? We should be worshiping them then, right? If we're going to worship anybody. All prophets have tried to reform him, devil, but were unable. So they have agreed that it cannot be done unless we graft him back into us. Back to the original man would take 600 years. So instead of losing time grafting him, they have decided to take him off the planet. Take him off the planet. That's not what Farrakhan's saying. That's what Ishmael's saying. They're like us. See, it ain't about the skin. No, it ain't about the skin. See? But he's a devil. And what the Quran says, do I take Christian and Jewish friends if they want to run the Quran? The Quran said, do I take Jews and Christian friends? So on that level, he's still wrong, even if it runs to the Quran. So you hang in there with him. Hang in there with him. What's this says? Now, tell us, would you hope to live to see that God will take the devils into hell in the very near future? This is a lesson now. Yes. This is the Muslim answer. This is not Ishmael's answer, and Farrakhan's answer, because remember, Farrakhan is a devil himself. He's a black-faced devil. Yes, I fast and pray, Allah, in the name of his prophet, W.D. Farrakhan, that I see the hereafter Allah, in his own good time, takes the planet devil off our planet. Get rid of all of them. We're going to talk about Amalek in a minute. Yeah, it is, brother and sister. So, is that what, are they teaching the lessons? Are they teaching the lessons? Anywhere near? So they ain't teaching the Master Farrakhan's teachings, not teaching Master Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad's teachings. That's what said Aaron would do. He turned people away from the teachings. That's what it says in there. That's what he's doing. Okay. Now another thing. I'm just going to critique this for a minute. He's talking about how when how the moon was created. See, he don't understand. He has no idea what he's talking about. Like I did in Genesis thing. So he's talking about they used dynamite. The reason why Elijah Muhammad said dynamite because that was the most powerful explosion that Elijah knew during that time in the 30s. Nobody knew about. They didn't know about splitting the atom even back then. They didn't know about splitting the atom. They didn't know about nuclear power. All they knew was about dynamite was the most powerful. That's dynamite you make saying firecracker stuff out of. You know how much it would take to blow the earth apart? you couldn't make enough of that stuff. It'd take as much as a ball as big as the earth. With all that gunpowder, they probably still wouldn't do it. It's not that powerful stuff. And he said, drill a hole down full of gunpowder. It wouldn't work. Gunpowder isn't that powerful. They measure nuclear bombs in terms of TNT, which is gunpowder. They say it's like 10,000 times the power of one atomic bomb, a small one, like 10,000 times more powerful than TNT. But he didn't know it. That's why he said gunpowder is the most powerful explosion at the time. And it says he didn't get the lesson nearly correct. That's what. So it says he may have it right, may have it wrong. The lesson itself says he didn't get it totally correct. But we know Master Muhammad knew. How we know? Because he's talking about cracked atoms right here when nobody knew about cracked atoms. Nobody had split atom. You watch the old movies, there wasn't anything about no atomic explosion. You watch the old Flash Gordon movies, stuff like that. It was just like laser beams or whatever, death rays. Nobody knew anything about splitting no atom. The idea wasn't even in the 30s. You know, we told that they raided Elijah Muhammad's house and took all the wisdom that Master Muhammad looked, and then all of a sudden they start coming to stuff. Remember, they get information from us. Information from us. Now, how do you know that Master Muhammad knew about cracked atoms? He knew about nuclear explosions because right here it says Mr. Muhammad cracked one atom into 10 million parts. Right? Cracked atoms, splitting atoms, same thing as splitting atoms. They ain't had an idea about splitting atoms back then. He's talking about this back in the 30s when he gave Elijah Muhammad these messages, right? And Mr. Sharif wants to know how much 1/3 of a cracked atom weigh. Now see if you know anything about science, what those fools don't know, they can't tell you biology. Because Farrakhan follows the devil, that means he's got to be a devil. That's biology. That's basically start as a sperm. See, they lie about that. Oh, well, it doesn't matter because God made you in the womb. Okay. If you understand, weight is just force. Force is, when they talk about gravity, they use instead of saying force, they say weight. Because your weight is how much force you put on the floor. That's how much force. That weight is force. It's just when you talk about in terms of gravity, you call it weight. Like if you call another language, right? So if you translate this, say how much does 1/3 of a cracked atom, how much force does it has? Then then you start seeing what we're talking about here. See, and you go further. 4 quintillion pounds equal the total amount of atoms. 1/100th of a square inch equals 200 million atoms. Extract the cube root of 3/4 of a cracked atom. A cracked atom equals 1/10,000 of W.D. Shaw wants to know what will the weight of a cracked atom. What he's saying is how much force it has. That's a nuclear explosion. If it translate weight into force, you're talking about a nuclear explosion. He's talking about nuclear bombs or nuclear explosion before the devils even had any idea about it. So Master Muhammad knew about it, but Muhammad didn't know. So he's talking about dynamite. And anybody knows any science at all knows the amount of dynamite it would take to blow up this planet is totally, it's impossible. On top of that, nuclear explosions, you can do it. You can't do it with dynamite. It's impossible. The other thing is Is he talking about, okay, 6 trillion years ago, 6 trillion make of the moon. He got that all wrong too. He says, this crazy scientist, he wanted to blow up the whole planet now, because he was pissed off because people's dialect. No, that's insane. That's insane. You want to blow up the whole damn planet because people spoke the same language now. So it was, I'm down in Birmingham, so I'm gonna talk a little yokel, right? But I'm still speaking English. Stupid. That's not that. See, 6. I don't. I shouldn't get into this. A jinn is not a people. Jinn is a concept. Jinn means people that resist. The jinn at our time are the Sunnis, because the angels submitted. We submitted, but they said they weren't going to submit. That means not even Muslim. They said we're going to keep doing like you told us to do. We're going to keep worshiping you and everything else. He said, no, you got to submit to Adam. Remember, now you look at the story. It doesn't make any sense. Wait a minute. We're going to keep worshiping you and doing all the good things you told us to do. But you tell us to go over here and submit to Adam, who's going to make me shed blood. I ain't going to do it. You see? And God said, well, you are wrong, and you curse. You going to curse me for, I'm going to keep doing what you told me to do before. I'm going to keep doing the right thing, what you call the right thing. And because I won't submit to somebody who's going to make me shed blood, and all others just did. Now, as soon as I tell you, this wasn't Adam. Wasn't an angel. Well, that don't make any sense either. Because if he wasn't an angel, then why would God curse him? Because he gave commands to angels. So if he wasn't an angel, the command didn't apply to him. So he was an angel. But he said, I'm not going to do it. So that means he's not in submission. And who is the only people on the planet? Only people on the planet that totally against European Adam's ideas. European ideas. Democracy, capitalism, usury, all stuff, they totally against only Sunnis. They reject all the banks and that stuff. They did a jinn. See? That means they're not even Muslim. Because you got smitten ties to the will of Allah. So who submitted? We submitted. We totally submitted. That's what it says in Abrahamic covenant. We have to come over here and be over here and submit these people 40 years. So we're the real Muslim. That's what the lessons say. We're the real Muslim. They ain't Muslim. That's why my Prophet Muhammad said most of them going to hell. Read Hadith. Just Google it. He said most of them, 80% of them going to hell, hellbound, because they're not Muslim. Yeah, if Muslim means submission tied to the will of Allah, then we the ones submit totally to Adam. Totally. All other nations submit to him some form. Even the communists, right? They're still doing the economic. Everybody's but they totally reject all of it. They're the jinn. So the thing is that what happened? Jinn just means so that the jinn at that time was a time when, remember, the original being was a male or female. It was one gender. And at that time, they decided to separate the gender into male and female. 6 trillion years ago. Right? 6 trillion years after the beginning. And they resisted because Arabic was a genderless language before that because you didn't have any gender. Arabic is the most gender-oriented language on the planet. Everything is a gender. A baseball is a gender. House is everything is a gender. It's either male or female. It's the most gender-based language, and that's what it was. Because the guy just says, man, first of all, he didn't want to separate it because he says if you separate it, the men gonna be strong and the women be more beautiful, and they're gonna be stronger than us, and the women gonna be more beautiful than us. Because we're one being, and they're gonna overtake us. And he said, no, man, keep it like it is. And those people just said, no, we don't want to split. Plus, they saw immortality. They look immortality like, because when you genderless, your child will be an exact copy of you. So that's how they saw immortality, that they reproduce themselves, an exact copy of themselves. Right? That's what. But now you won't have that anymore, because now you got. See? They said, well, that's stopped by immortality. That's where they saw it. That's where they looked at it. I'm not saying it's correct. That's where they looked at it. And they want to stop it. See? And that means the language had to be changed. That's what the dialect talk about. They have to change language because the language now has to be gender-based when it wasn't before. And so they try to stop it. And how you know that's when that was when that happened? Because what? The moon is tied to the female. Case closed. Move on. Who is? Well, we already done this. So I'm not bad. We already done this.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups, bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land, turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Act themselves. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah." Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica. His father, Gates writes, was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. "If in my lineage there are Jews, I would hope that in the end, before my life is over, I not only will have rendered a service to my own beloved community of black people but will also have rendered a service to the Jewish community," Farrakhan was quoted as saying. In the interview with Gates, which reportedly lasted 9 hours, the Nation of Islam leader also made reference to wise Jews who plan evil, the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and overwhelming Jewish complicity in the slave trade. Jewish groups expressed outrage over Farrakhan's latest public statements. Farrakhan's effort to make it appear that he is merely criticizing the evil he finds in his own Jewish antecedents is a reflection of the bizarre and ludicrous nature of his entire behavior towards Jews, Phil Baum, executive director of the American Jewish Congress, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a planned protest against the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith fizzled last week when Washington, D.C., police denied former Nation of Islam spokesman Khalid Abdul Muhammad entrance to the B'nai B'rith office. Flanked by 4 bodyguards in black fatigues, Muhammad took a moment to rail against the ADL and the Jewish community before he departed the scene. This is a criminal organization and a criminal enterprise that has lied and spied on black leaders and black organizations, said Muhammad, who was dismissed as Farrakhan's spokesman in 1994 in the wake of a national controversy surrounding a vehemently anti-Semitic speech he delivered at Keene College in New Jersey. Muhammad called the ADL and its parent organization, B'nai B'rith, one of the main arteries of improper propaganda and nefarious activity that has greatly influenced the larger American Jewish community. In brief remarks to reporters, Muhammad said the black man and black woman are the chosen people of God and we want to put an end to this lie of the so-called Jews, these people who crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe just a few years ago claiming our birthright. Standing astride Muhammad was Malik Zulu Shabazz, the leader of the Washington, D.C.-based Unity Nation who gained notoriety for leading anti-Semitic chants at Howard University student rallies in 1994. Shabazz said the ADL is an oppressive organization that comes from a people that are by nature evil and wicked.
His father's personal clock, I'm not going to go into details about this, I've been talking over and over again, but just Google it. Light-skinned Jamaican? No, he's not light-skinned Jamaican. He's white Jamaican and white, right? White-skinned Jamaican, not light-skinned, white-skinned Jamaican. And Jamaican is not ethnicity, is nationality. We say Jamaican, that's your nationality. That has nothing to do with ethnicity. It's your nationality. Like if you live here, call yourself American, that has nothing to do with your ethnicity. You got all kinds of people live here. So I'm American. You got Jews that America, you got English that America, you got Spanish that America, you got Hindus that America, you got Irish. That's their nationality. See, that's the games they playing. But he just said, Farrakhan just said out of his own mouth. You believe his own words? He says his father's father, right? He's a sperm, his father. You start as a sperm, not an egg. He said he was white, Caucasian, Portuguese Jews. Which makes him a black, Caucasian, Portuguese Jew. Here's his daddy. No Photoshop. Google it. Here's your picture. There it is. Let me expand it. Right there. And it says, right, Louis Eugene says that's his son. Louis Eugene Walker. That's what Farrakhan claim his name is. His mother's name is Sarah Mae. Now, I'm not putting this in here. Google it. You'll see it.
So long till they don't know the birth record. So they just say from remotest antiquity.
Here comes Farrakhan, his own words. He's telling you that Master Muhammad, right? So he's saying God is not a man. His own words, you listen to him. See his own words now. This is what he's saying.
So long till they don't know the birth record. So they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong. but he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man, because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days. I was there for 3 days. And in the 3 days that I was there, wrangling with the scholars, we talked about this. And when I finished explaining, the heaviest scholars there didn't bother to argue. They had to go away and study it. And what we don't realize is God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And what you're doing, you are following those that God wants to put you over. The Arab is a good person, basically. They've done a wonderful job in keeping the book of God pure. And we are grateful to them for so doing. But they messed up. It's your turn now. And God will see how you act. But you're not to follow Arabs. You're to lead them. And you can't lead them following them. See, they like to see you imitating them. Just like white Christians want to see black Christians imitate.
That speaks for itself, brothers and sisters. He said God's not a man. That's Elijah Muhammad's core message. God is a man, that we going home, we're going to leave here and go return the Abrahamic covenant. That was his key. He says both. God's not a man, and we ain't going nowhere. And you tell me he's representing Elijah Muhammad? That was his core message. He said, you make God other than man. Now they're saying that now. Just what he said today. See, he changed his tune, because right now, see, Farrakhan is, he's out of it, right? So, Wishman, they're trying to catch their breath, trying to get some traction, because they don't know what to do when he goes. So now, oh no, God, Master Muhammad is God, whatever. He is telling you, you can't worship us, and we're going to see what Ishmael has to say about it in a minute, right? So if you can't worship his flesh, then whoever Master Muhammad he claims praying to can't be flesh either, right? Because if Master Muhammad praying, then we should pray to who he's praying to. What waste time praying him for? Why waste the middleman, right? But whoever he's praying to can't be flesh either. Because he said you can't pray to flesh. So So he's saying God is not a man. But he's going a step further. Oh, well, I don't know who's praying about, but you know, you gotta pray to not to the God that created all this stuff, right? To his remembrance. God damn. Ooh, to his remembrance. You praying to a remembering? I mean, this guy's worse than crack. You got to put him in a bottle and sell him. He's worse than crack. He did not tell. First of all, he tell you can't worship Master Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad said, Master Muhammad, you can't make God other than man. They're saying that now. Say it today, right? That shows the backtracking because they're scared. But people starting to pay attention, and now they say, wait, they start reading, checking, and no, he's a man now. You heard what he just said? You can't worship him, and plus he prays. So, but who's he praying to? But he's saying he's praying to something that's not a man because he can't be flesh either. And not only that, he's 73 years dead, because he's probably the original creator, so he's 72 years dead, and now you're praying to the dead man. At least in Christianity, you're praying to the dead man, you say you come back alive, but you're not even praying to the dead man. You're praying remembrance of a dead man. Remembrance. How in the hell was remembrance going to do for you? And Master Muhammad's praying to, so he's praying to his remembrance. And you buying that? Okay, you keep on. Keep your head up his ass. You buying that? He's going against everything Elijah Muhammad said, totally. Muhammad said, made it clear. Made it absolutely clear. Right? What's going on here? Made it absolutely clear. God's a man. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Can't make anything other than a man. But you can't worship because he's flesh. And the one he's praying to it can't be flesh. Well, you can't be praying to him either. Right? That's what he's saying. And then plus, Master Muhammad prays. Master Muhammad pray to anybody. Gods don't pray to anybody. So it's okay. Let's go a little further. See what Mr. Israel.
Beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest practices in all the religions is prayer. The form and style of prayer varies from faith to faith, but prayer is universal. There is no religious community that does not pray. No prophet of God that did not pray. Abraham prayed, Noah prayed, Moses prayed, David prayed, Joseph prayed, Jesus prayed, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prayed. Master Fard Muhammad prays.
Okay, brothers and sisters. Did I miss something? Does that need a translation? The interpreter? Let's look back at this again, right? Wait a second. Allah God answers prayers. Right? So who's answering his prayer? This remembrance? Because he said, Master Muhammad ain't doing it. So he's praying to somebody else. But that praying to, you ain't praying to a body, you're praying to remembrance of a person. So how? Whoa. I guess I must just not. It's much too deep for me, boss. This is part of me. It must be too deep for me. It must just be too deep for me. Again, see, the other one says, well, it's Persian clock without an E, with an E. Well, this is without an E. Same thing, same picture. That's his daddy. Light-skinned Jamaican to me. Light-skinned white. I mean, well, he could be Jamaican, but he sure ain't light-skinned. He's white-skinned. and he got devil's hair, just like Farrakhan has. Farrakhan said the original story was his father raped his mama, and that's why she tried to abort him 3 times. But yet still, this is God. This is a godly birth. Remember, he says a godly birth. They prepared his mother's womb to bring this holy child into. That's what they said. What, a week or 2 weeks ago, they prepared this holy womb. This was God doing it. Prepared this holy womb for his holy child. Who Farrakhan? That is what, it was 2 weeks ago they said that? Go check it. Maybe I should have played that. He prepared his holy womb for his holy child, but yet still, and then, remember, God has controls whole circumstance. But then, after he prepares, then he gonna have somebody go rape the mama, force the seed into her, a devil seed, right? And then this holy woman, this holy child, try to abort it 3 times. And then when the child is born, right, she got to beat all the damn time, right, because it's lying all the time. And then she got to teach it to love black people, okay? That's holy. See, who's the holy one? You know, they asked Master Muhammad what's holy. He said opossum. I might have said just Satan. Well, says, oh.
When the Muslims were alive.
Watch this clown. Watch this clown, brothers and sisters.
When the Muslims were alive. I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, Brother Minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, Brother Minister. Both sides. That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right. That's right.
We owned buildings.
That's right.
We owned farmland.
That's right.
We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
Basic brother.
Whoa, let the worms eat their ass. Holy Farrakhan, love the people. And do you listen to Kev what he's saying? He's the one that, when the Muslim was alive, he's the one that killed him. I was there from 1775. He was the one that, him and Wallace tore down the nation, tore it down, liquidated all the assets, stole all the money, left the bleeds with nothing. Elijah Muhammad left the money in the name of, he didn't go out here rich. All the money was in the name of the Nation of Islam. And they liquidated everything, they turned down, went to court, and said, that money belongs to my father. He built all this, got all the money, left the bleeds with nothing. At that time, I was living in the Nation's building. It had a complex, I think 83rd Street, I believe it was, 83rd, 87th Street in Chicago. It had a big complex there. I lived in one apartment, nice apartment, and the lease was very reasonable. Right? I was a foreman at Muhammad Speak newspaper, midnight, the mid-shift foreman. I was in my 20s, so the youngest foreman ever, right? My car was financed through Nation's Bank, right? I shopped at Nation stores. I had very, very little interaction with devils, very little. You understand? All that went over overnight because they got rid of all of it. All of it. And then changed, got rid of even their name, started something called the Bazalians. When the Muslim was alive, who killed it? And then he ran for all the money. Him too. He ran back to, one of the reasons why he ran, because these brothers looking for him, because he was bad mouthing the messenger big time. He was standing right next to Wallace. Wallace had was bad mouthing. Yeah, when he was with Miles for over a year. So why was you with him? You say immediately he started bad mouthing the messenger. So why would you stay with him? Because you was doing the same thing right there. And I got a video showing him, and this other Wallace bad mouthing the messenger. Got the video to this interviewer. So he took the money and ran. Ishmael's mother. She's probably a devil too. She was white. Ran down to Mexico, took the money, ran down to Mexico. Why did he leave the country? They was all scared. Because they ripped off the nation. They thought somebody was going to come after them. They left their beliefs with nothing. No name, no. That's why the Nation of Islam fell. There was no leadership. They took everything. And when the wolves came, Farrakhan said the people went crazy. Some went in the mental institution. Some died. Some homeless. Some went back to prison. Some of them started selling drugs. If you knew all of that, how come you didn't stand for him? He said he knew. Well, how come you didn't stand for him? No, you took the money and ran, and you went back to Arizona someplace, and you was hiding out there, right? And you was out there trying to get back on stage and shake your ass calypso. Tell him live, Farrakhan. I was there. 1975 since the message departed. I stayed there until 83. I watched the whole thing go down. Whole thing go down. He got rid of the press, got rid of everything. You know Prince Final Call newspaper? Synagogue of Satan. That's who print. They don't print themselves. Like how we print our own paper. They print. Synagogue of Satan, the one they call Jews, they print their. That's where you go to print their Final Call paper. Yes. But when Mr. was alive, you killed it. You're dead as hell now because you killed it. That's what Aaron did. Now you're going to blame them? You're a sick dog. And you're about to be put down. You curse with a curse. Right? Because when I broke the seals in 1990, I sent him a copy of a book outlining the seals, how they work and everything. And I sent a copy. I got a copy here. Maybe I'll show it to you. I made a copy of it. I went to press and copied everything break the seals down, what everything meant, right? At that time, so I remember exactly what I was thinking at the time. I kept it so nobody can say I just made it up. 1990. In a green book. I probably could show it, but anyway. And I sent him a copy. Read to make sure he got it. 1990. And right after that, what happened? He was diagnosed with cancer. Yeah. Robbing the nation. Right after that, go check it. He was diagnosed with cancer in 1990. Right after, I said in the beginning of 1990, he was diagnosed with cancer right after that. And the synagogues blew his ass up with those radiation pellets. Now he can't handle children or anything. He got have somebody wipe his ass. He pissing the shit in a bag. Cursing a curse. It says in Malachi 4, one will be cursed with a curse. If that's not a curse, brother, what would you call a curse? Any brother on the planet would tell you that's a curse. Now you can't have intimacy with women or anything. You cut all this stuff out. That's worse than being castrated. Now he's pissing shit in a bag. Ripping the nation says, if be one, the God will come, he raised Elijah. Elijah will pave the way for the message of the covenant, but there'll be somebody in between the message of the covenant to clean up, because he had to come and sober clean and mess up. Would be somebody that raised the nation, that were robbing it. They say nation, they talk about temple and nation, so you know he's talking about message, talking about the Nation of Islam. Because it ain't talking about church, not synagogue, not mosque, temple. And so he's cursed with a curse. What, it was 55 at a time? Wow, that's heavy. 55? And got you all cut up like that? At 55? Think about it. Lion dog. And when the whistle was alive. Okay, let's go down there. Almost about to close out, brothers and sisters.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother Minnie. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother Minnie. That's right. Both sides. That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right. That's right.
We own buildings.
That's right.
We own farmland.
That's right.
We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
Basic biology teaches us that the father carries a seed, the mother has the egg. But as a seed, you start as a sperm, you're alive. The egg is not alive, it's living material, but it's not alive. But the sperm is alive. That you start as a sperm, you was alive, and you went to the egg and you develop. But you start as a sperm, that means the sperm is a seed. So you are whatever your father is, period. That's basic biology. Now we know that Farrakhan's father is Percival Clark. And you can Google it, his father's a devil. So Farrakhan's a devil. He's skin folk. He's not kinfolk. He's like, they said, Oreo, black on the outside, white on the inside. He's a devil, which the scriptures refer to as a demon, half devil, half man. That's basic. So he could not possibly be a seed of Abraham. He could not possibly be a seed of Abraham. He's a devil. He's an enemy. That's why he don't want to call devils devils anymore, because he don't want his children, right, so their grandfather's a devil. He don't want to have them call their grandfather's a devil. That's why Elijah Muhammad never told him that that's a lie. I was there. I was there during that time, 1970s. Elijah Muhammad never told him not to call devils devils, because he used the term all the way up to his departure. So that's clear. So why are you deceived when that's clear biology? He doesn't deny it. He's kind of changed his office as far as a light-skinned Jamaican. Just look it up. You can Google it. Percival Clark's father, a devil. And he missed it in interviews and things. So there's no confusion there, brothers and sisters. And there's confusion, it's confusion in your mind. Right? And scripture refers to him as Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds, that's his real name. Louis, he has some dispute about the grounds, but his real name is Louis Eugene Grounds. That's why Legion were demons that was confused, was betraying us, not betraying us, but deceiving us, right? Using us, right? He turned NOI backwards. Now, how would he become a millionaire? He doesn't have any business, anything. And his son, who's also a devil, because he's a devil, he's a multimillionaire, and he's an idiot. Think about that, right? You are what your father is. Now, the way they try to get around it is, oh, well, it doesn't matter who your mother or father is. Really? Then why you need sperm egg? It says, God made you in the womb. That's what counts. But what did he make you with? You see? And if you buy that, you buy it. Basic biology, brothers and sisters. Basic biology. Basic biology teaches us that the father carries a seed, the mother has the egg. But as a seed, you start as a sperm, you're alive. The egg is not alive, it's living material, but it's not alive. But the sperm is alive. That you started as a sperm, you was alive, and you went to the egg, and you start as a sperm. That means okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go briefly over what we expect to happen in the next few days, and then I'm going to close out. The apocalypse. The apocalypse is the global war that's actually started October 7th, a year ago, right? With so-called uprising. That is the start of abomination, desolation. But they won't call it that, because for the devils to call it that, that means they expose who they are, who false Israel is. Because it says when that happens, it says, right, you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. No, it's destruction now. It means Jerusalem, who controls Jerusalem, who's that cat? That's false Israel. That means their destruction is coming, but they can't tell you that. Because they tell you that, that means they can't be a true seed of Abraham. That means we are, and the reason why America's supporting them, because they have, it's for political reasons, because they don't want us to know who we are. So they say, see, that's them. Because the nation of our vision perished, and that's our vision. Elijah Muhammad restored our vision. We had no vision. We didn't know what we was when Master Muhammad showed up. He gave us a vision, Abraham covenant, said that's who we are. So we had a vision. So they had to now for that vision, because that were the scripture, we rallied around that vision once it became apparent that we are the true seed of Abraham. So that would happen when the four winds blow, and then we would come together, because and when four winds blow, it's what's about to happen when this war takes place. I'm gonna explain to you in a minute, right? So they said that acknowledgement we would realize that we was a true seed of Abraham, and we're coming together as a exceedingly great army. So that's why they had to make sure we never had that vision. So they put false Israel up there in 1948 to nullify what Elijah Muhammad was saying, and then they kind of underscored it when Elijah Muhammad talked to Martin Luther King and explained to him. He said, "Oh," and so he went into the Promised Land speech, right? By going, and they killed him the next day. Next day he was dead. That's why it's important for us, Israel, 100%, because they nullify our vision. Because if we realize that we choose Abraham, we'll come together based on that principle, and it's a seed of great army, and then we'll take vengeance and take our ass out of here, back home to Arabia, not Palestine. We look at it. It says between the River Euphrates and the River of Egypt, which is Arabia, which the Sunnis are backing Farrakhan with this bullshit. Because Farrakhan ain't going nowhere, because he's one of them. They backing him. They're paying him to keep saying that, because that's our land, and they don't want us to return to it. Say, don't let them people know that's our land. They pay Farrakhan to keep teaching that crap. Now that he's worked for the government too, I already showed you that, right? Right. And what the FBI would have gave him every point. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. So apocalypse is a whole, which actually initiated there, because that's the abomination, desolation. Look up abomination. Look up the root word. It says the uprising was put down with great cruelty. Look it up. That's what happened. See, but they can't define that. That'd be the beginning of the apocalypse. That beginning of war in heaven. War in heaven broke out, and then Michael's angels go to war with the dragon's angels. Who's Michael's angels? It's Master Farrakhan Muhammad and the Shia, Iran, right? It's going to war with Gog and Magog, America, Britain, false Israel, right? And they defeated, and false Israel was taken down under siege. And when that happens, everybody gonna realize, the whole world gonna realize they was false, they wasn't real, and they'll realize that we the true seed of Abraham, and then we're gonna become the focus of everybody's wrath, because they don't want us to rise. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Now, Armageddon is a phase of apocalypse. That's a European war. Farrakhan said 3 years ago, that Armageddon started to Ukraine, and it's going to spread over Europe. He was wrong. Ishmael said, if somebody says something is right, you shouldn't listen to me anymore. Well, how can you still listen to Farrakhan? Well, yeah, you don't have to listen. Because he said, after that, he said, God told him to be quiet. But you're supposed to be the watchman. For 40-some years, you're paying this man, make him rich, to tell you what's happening when it happens. Watch the weather and all you get from him. And then Armageddon will take that. No, Armageddon too. You saying Armageddon? He was wrong. I said right then, go back and check my presentation back during that time. I said, no, you're wrong. I said it'll be a war in the Middle East when there wasn't any signs of a war in the Middle East. I said it'll be a war in the Middle East going to break out. That's what's going to cause it, kick it off. When there was no signs of it. I said, you're wrong, because that's not the Armageddon. Armageddon will take place after the war in the Middle East has taken its course. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. So bottom line here, this is the intro. It talks about one's like a lion. I need to actually change the figures here, and one's like a lion, one's like a calf, one's like a face of a man, one's like an eagle, and 7 spirits. Well, these are the nations that he's talking about. Each one has 6 wings. Now you take 6 wings. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, right? But when you look at these, and I don't have it, I've got to change it, brothers and sisters. But the top 6 wings of each nation is the Islamic part. It's the golden part. And when you look at this here, we're going to see a minute. This is the golden part of the European nations. The Islamic part. That's the Iranians, and that's the Islamic part of the European nation, right? So if this is the calf, right, and it's the golden part of it, and this is, remember, this is Asia, right? And this represents the Arabs, the top part, the golden part, right? So if this is the calf, that's the golden part, Sunnism is the golden calf that Farrakhan turned you to, Aaron. We'll say it in a minute. So then it says it this way. This is another form of the key, right? And it shows you they're part of nations. And you can't make this up, brothers and sisters. Africa was colonized by the Europeans. Asia, Britain was dominated, right? The Asian, right? That's Britain. Asia, India, Arabia. You can't make that up, right? And us, we're under the control of America, right? But since raping our women and everything, half of us are skin folk, which are demon. Demon half man, half demon, half man, half devil, half man. So half of our demons, they're really blackface devils, because they were because since the 400 years of rape. And then you got the Orientals here, right? You say, well, how are they under control of Russia? They are ideologically. Remember, each one is different. This is colonization. This is domination. This is enslavement, and this is ideological. Communism. China, all of them, Korea, Vietnam, under ideological Russian. That's where communism came from. Can't make it up. And it says the one sitting on the throne is actually Satan, false Israel. And this is the crowns up here. They're actually golden. They say, when they read the scripture, says they're golden. I just got to make it golden, right? Because it said the European, but they're also golden. And so they cast their crowns down, and that's another story that gets into JCPOA. It explains all of that in the angel. But this one sitting on the throne. And the Lamb took the book from this one, had sitting on the throne. Because that's not God sitting on the throne. Because God had the book. You mean he got a book that he wrote that he don't understand himself? It says, no one, heavens or earth or under earth, could look at that book or break the seals but the Lamb. So this is Satan sitting on the throne, because they control all of this. They control America, they control all of this. And they had the book, but they had the angel, but they couldn't figure out. The Lamb took it from him and figured it out. That's another story. So that's the basic concept, right? Let's go on, and then I'm going to close out. Now see, it's the key again, right? And so right here, this is where we are right now. Right now, this right here, this called the heavens up here. This called the earth. The earth only got 4 parts. But this called mid-heaven, because between, right here where you see America, that's mid-heaven, that's between heavens and earth. But right this is where the shield should be. Remember I showed you before, that's where they should be. But they kicked out, because America and Britain invaded in 1990 and took control of the Middle East. America and Britain fought Israel. So they did here. Because that's where they are right now. And now they're fighting to get back and take control again. This is what's happening. This is where we are right now in time. It's not watch the weather stuff. We're very detailed. Okay? Then the war takes place. At the same time, that's when Suleiman, the Messenger of the Covenant, takes control. The NOI take control. They don't take control. They actually come and get him. They submit to him. They turn away from Farrakhan and submit to him. Right? That's where people are sitting dark. That's why they call it dark, because the Nation of Islam cast as the black horse. Right? And that's when they take back control of the Middle East. America and Britain is cast out. Magog and falls cast down. They cast down. This is the war. It's about to happen any day now. You want to see that. America and Britain's going to be kicked out, and falls is going to be under siege. And Suleiman will be in charge of the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan will be cast out. And that's when they're going to attack us. That's when they're going to attack us. Because now the vision is clear, because false is going down. And they don't want us to have a vision, because we get vision. Then we're going to stand up. And the Bible tells us to take vengeance on them, doing them double as they've done to you. Farrakhan said, we can't do that. Well, that's what it's a command. It's not a cook. So they're going to attack us. That's why I say flee. Say flee immediately. It says flee immediately. It says if your baby's in the house, don't go back and get your baby. I mean, that got to be critical. Don't go back and get your coat. Don't go back and get your baby. You leave your baby in the house, but both of you be dead. If you're in the house, your baby in the house, you outside, flee. When you find out flee immediately. That's how terrible it's going to be. They don't come against you. See, that's what's about to happen, brothers and sisters. The total economic collapse, cannibalism is going to reign, but they don't attack you because now they see that you realize you treat Abraham. So what happens? See? Then false Israel is gone, and then it's clear that we're true to Abraham. Because they can say, well, no, Jesus is going to save just in the nick of time. But when they're gone, there's nothing to save. And what happens then? See, these are also called the winds. I didn't change the name, I should change it. The serpents are called winds, they're also called fire. They have different names depending on the chapter. And that's when the four winds blow. That's when they come together. The chaff and the wheat, they come together. Because they're going to attack all blacks. They ain't going to try to figure who's what. They all come together. That's the four winds blow. And then that's when Suleiman, the Measure of Covenant, separates them out. That's why Moses came and said, those with the Lord, he came in Aaron's camp. Aaron was in control. Though he separated them out. And then he killed all of Aaron, all his followers. Read it. Read it. That's what it says. So you believe the book or not. And that's what happens. And then them. We separate them out. See? And there it is, brothers and sisters. That's about to happen. There's much more to it than that. I'm just giving the base version. Okay. I'm going to have them close out there, brothers and sisters. Then I'm going to close it there. Yeah. He's in worse shape than this now. He can't even wipe his own ass. He'll piss the shit in the bag. That's a curse, brothers and sisters. So if he says, man, I'm protecting him, I don't know that kind of protection. Remember, he called that cancer right after I sent that book, 1990. Check it out. See? And then they put pellets in his ass and blew his ass up. Radiated his so-called Jews. Doctor, that's what he says. See? And that's a curse because he's been robbing nations. He's a multi-millionaire. Him and his son. They don't have a business. Why did they get that? Nation don't have any money. Having to sit on the streets doing fundraisers, a damn pimp. That's why he got a pimp scar on his chin. Okay, I'm going to talk about Amalek for a minute. You know, Amalek, if you read Amalek, well, I got the actual phrase that's here. Amalek, so I think I have it. Here's where. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when you were come forth out of Egypt. Remember, false Israel, they tell Jesus, we never was a captive anybody. They talking about us. When we come together as a huge army and start start working our way out of here, right? They're going to attack us. And every way mad, I told you, they're going to come and attack. See, what Amalek did thee by the way when we come forth out of Egypt. That's talking about us coming out of here. How we met thee by how he met by the way and smote the highest smote thee, even though weeping and feet. In other words, he came at you. Anybody that he could get her hands on, and the weird and everything else, right? He tore apart. See, he tore apart. They're going to attack you. All the weak ones. All the ones that stragglers, all the ones that in the rear, he's going to show them matter. He's going to tear them apart. Therefore, it shall be when the Lord hath given thee rest from all thy enemies round about in the land which the Lord hath given thee for an inheritance was this week. Then we return home after you got home, right? Thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek one of the heavens, and thou shalt not forget. No, we don't forgive them. Just totally wipe them out, totally, just like it said in the lessons. It says right here, Farrakhan, we brothers. We love you. You know, we don't argue, we can skin. Is that Elijah Muhammad's teachers? That's what Amalek's a revenge thing. They try to say in false Israel that the Palestinians Amalek. No, Palestinians never did to them what they're doing to them. They write an obituary because that applies not only to us, but it applies to them because they write on an obituary because what they're doing right now to Palestinians, when that war starts, they're going to put them under siege and they're going to be going, they're going to starve them out, cut off water, everything. And they're going to be cannibalism. The book said the men could be the sons could be their daughters, father beating their sons. And in America, it's going to be total economic collapse, right? And they're going to be eating each other here. It says a dainty woman, right? She said if she's pregnant, remember they don't have no electricity, anything, no food. It says what she's going to do is if she's pregnant and she's about to have a baby, she's going to hide somewhere when they can't find her, and get that baby, produce that baby. This was scripture said, read, Google it. She's going to birth that baby in secret. I don't know how she can do it quietly. I don't know the women, I don't know. But she said she's going to do it so they can't nobody can hear she have it. She's getting that baby. So she can eat it alive. That's what it says scripture, eat alive. Not cook it, because they ain't had nothing to cook it with. If she cook it, everybody would know she's cooking something anyway. This is how bad it's going to be. And if they eat their own children, which they're going to do to you? You're 3/5 human, ain't you? Keep listening to Farrakhan. And when you end up on a table with an apple in your mouth, with spick up your ass, getting ready to go in the oven, yeah, but we ain't gonna sleep. We ain't gonna lose nothing sleep over on you. We ain't gonna lose. See, that's what it tells us. Give back. See, because Amalek is a revenge thing. Give back to her also. She give back this time to us. Pharaoh said we can't do that. Said give back to her all she gave back, double back. In other words, what they gave us for 40. Think about it. They said it's gonna be unimaginable. The chastisement will be unimaginable. Because what they did for us for 40 years, it says give back to them in 1 year. 40 years of all they gave us, you're going to give back to them double. How can that be like? Is that like if I put you in the face one time every day for a whole year? This is on a year basis. And then in a year, you don't do anything. In a year, right, you get a punch that's equal to 365 punches at one time. I wouldn't exist anymore. Hit me like that with a force of 365 fists at one time? Think about it. Their destruction will be terrible. Okay, closing our brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Those of you who will understand, remember, this is a free gift. I have 35 years since 1990. I haven't asked anybody for a dime. This is a free gift, as I said, chapter 22. I'm here to give you information. I ain't here to get money from you. I ain't charging anything. I'm sacrificing my family and everything to get this information to you. And for nothing. It's a free gift. You already earned it. All you got to do is accept it. But if you be like Esau, accept reparations and everything else, say spit on your inheritance, then you're going to do the same thing to Esau. God going to curse him. You got, the world is yours. Transform from the angels to gods. Gods don't pray. Gods don't submit to anybody. You don't have to submit when you get home to anybody because you're part of our body. The heart works with the lungs. The lungs work with the liver. They all work together. Nobody submit to anybody. They work together for the sake of the body. And you're all parts of the body. That's what happens when you get home. Okay? Nobody can tell you what to do. Like them. See, they tell you about their Jesus. Their Jesus dictator. We hate dictators. They no goddamn good. We hate all damn goddamn dictators. Well, they're Jesus dictator. Right? You can't vote for him. He says, I'm coming to kick your ass, and you better do what I tell you to do without question. I'm going to burn your ass up in hell forever and ever and ever. Where's that? No. That's why Master Thomas said, we family. He said, we was his uncle. All that shit ends. Okay. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. Go home. You ain't got to pay me anything. You already paid your dues. You went to the Holocaust. It's time to collect. But if you don't want to collect, you don't have to. Nobody's going to force you to do it. You're going home. Right? I got the keys for you to go, and I didn't charge you for them. Assalamu alaikum.